Urza Ascendancy against Jun Death Shadow. Both these players, they want to play in the Players' Championship. And this will be an important match. They're both 5-0, too. We got to get Johnny Hobbs on the Players Watch leaderboard. What are we doing here? This kid never loses and has a great haircut right now. He seriously like never loses. It's kind of unreal.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, been crushing.
What do we got there? We got Nurturing Peatland? That's good with Death Shadow. 18 from cycling that Street Wraith. Look, I'm gonna say is, I'm not a game designer. I have no interest in being a game designer because it's really tough. But what I will say is that sometimes I can tell when a card is designed incorrectly.
Well, you're talking about it being balanced incorrectly.
Sure.
Potentially. Unless the starting point of why is there a card this cheap with Affinity is just too...
There's that, too.
That's a critique of the design, sort of, but more speaking to rate.
Bauble, Mox Opal, Island, pass. Jonathan Hobbs is going to tap his Peatland, fall down to 17, because he's got to get Death Shadow online. He does not. Oh, boy. Do we keep a little bit of a sketcher?
I think he was on 6 cards.
Astrolabe.
This one I'm sick of.
You're a hater of the Astrolabe.
I am.
Okay.
1 mana draws a card and counts for stuff that counts things. That's an easy way to get on my nerves.
A Snow-Covered Plains. Powerful. Let's see what comes next. Oh, Emery. Wow, that was tough to cast.
Second turn.
A couple artifacts in the graveyard. Let's see what this is. This is explosives for 1. That kills Death Shadow. And the Astrolabe. Don't forget about that.
Yep.
Hobbs is down to 16. True Kolagon's command.
Got Tarfire. Tarfire in the...
Tarfire in the house. Tarfire here.
Good stuff.
It's gonna be might be a short game. Might be.
Good stuff.
Might be a short game. You get to bring back any artifact with this card?
So with the Bauble you just go infinite with the Ascendancy.
It can't be like 3 or less or 4 more, just any card?
Yeah.
There's no rules? Sacrifice Prismatic Vista. Dylan will get a Snow-Covered Mountain. Choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. You still pay its cost. Timing rules still apply. That's a good note. I don't think I've seen that before. Timing rules still apply?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's to remind you that you can't cast it at instant speed.
At instant speed, sure.
Yeah.
Makes some sense. Dylan has a... he has Jeskai Ascendancy in hand, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he's got a kill spell there, Dylan. I think he would have seen it by now.
I think Emery would be dead by now. What is this? Mox Amber. Okay. Four mana. Zurza? Sure, man. Okay. John's going to pick up his Street Wraith and land and concede. So, pretty neat.
Yeah, it was cool that he tried to pick up his cards there, but there were so few to pick up that it slipped out of his hands.
Well,
onto the sideboard.
Dylan Hand wins game number 1. Very quickly over Jonathan Hobbs. You all right there, boss?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Urza Ascendancy up the game very quickly here over Jun Death Shadow. 3 Oko, Thief of Crowns. 3 Galvanic Blast. 3 Mystical Discannot. What? That's not the right sideboard. Yeah, right, we'll fix that. I'll read it. They're flipped.
Yeah,
that's what it is. They're flipped. We can flip those. I was like, Hobbs has got Oko. 4 Collective Brutality. 3 Alpine Moon. 2 Veil Summer. 2 Floating Mage. A Collector. Oof. Plague Engineer. Liliana the Veil. Kolagon's Command. Let's talk about it.
The oof, the Kolagon's command, maybe the brutalities. Not a whole lot.
Not too much for you?
Not a whole lot. On the other side, Dylan Hand. 3 Galganic Blast, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Ceremonious Rejection.
Rejection. Les Champions.
3 Mystical Dispute, Weather the Storm, 3 Oko, Thief of Crowns, and Teferi Time Raveler. Assuming he knows what he's playing against, I think I'd be interested in the Teferi and the Okos. There you have it. Is there an ad that you would like to read?
Well, we're gonna get these sideboards up on the screen here, so for our lovely viewers at home, they can also check out our friends over at Cardboard Live. They're great. There we go. There we go. Hang in there, boss. Hang in there. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You doing all right?
Yeah, that game just really got to me. I don't know what to say. There wasn't anything going on. Just Hobbs sitting there, just tapping his peat land, getting caught.
17, 16.
Trying to scoop, but there was nothing to scoop up.
Yeah.
Just sort of pushing his 2 cards back into his deck.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know why that really got to me, but that game really got to me.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. You do you.
Let's talk about the sale.
It's something new every time.
It is new every time.
We've been doing this for so long. You find something new.
Yeah, the little joys.
Let's talk about the sale. Let's sell everybody some cards on the cheap, or at least cheaper. Hundreds of singles on sale through Monday. Seriously, there are hundreds. At go.starcitygames.com/sale, including Command Tower, Vandal Blast, Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, and of course a Patrick Staple and Kitchen Finks. You've bought your core Firewalkers. I'm sure Finks are next. You can disguise it as though, people need to borrow cards, so I bought some Kitchen Finks. You're just trying to get away from red.
The thing is that Kitchen Finks just isn't that powerful, so it's okay.
Says the guy who conceded to it on turn 2.
That was a different time. That was pre-Searing Blaze.
Okay, bud.
Pre-Goblin Guide.
You couldn't handle your Tatterbunch Maniac just going into the maw of the Finks.
No, I just dropped for the tournament.
Yeah.
It has had enough.
Go.starcitygames.com/sale. This sale will be available until Monday at 10:59 a.m. East Coast time. New sale 1 minute later at 11 a.m. Bookmark that page as we get ready to watch game number 2 of Magic, presuming, of course, that Jonathan will do something. I hope that he does, because I like the young man. A very good Magic player on his way to a budding Magic career. Dylan off to a great start here, not with humans. That's where he's seen most of his success, trying a little something new. But there we are, these players. We'll take a look at their openers. Hobbs will be on the play. See if he can find a better hand this time. He'll send it back. He's off it. See if Dylan likes his hand. It looks like the member of Team BCW is happy enough with what he's got. So we'll very quickly go over SCG Game Night here. We're in the month of October, featuring the exclusive. We broke you again. Nice. Bark Shadows.
Awesome.
A flying vampire pug dog. Nice. We've got that on tokens and sleeves. You can get more V's at go.starcitygames.com/game night. Your store can sign up. Isn't that right? And there's something they can do?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you contact your Star City Games and Store Play representative, you can have these game night kits sent to your store. Then you can run game night any day of the week that you want to, any format that you'd like. Just get players in your store for some fun and friendly Magic on a regular basis. And if you head over to go.starcitygames.com/game night, you can find the game night closest to you. That information is also available in the StarCityGames.com newsletter. And if you are a store looking to get signed up for game night, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, here we go. Bobble, Verdant Catacombs Pass, your favorite, Astrolabe.
Yep. Enough of this.
Literally why you're here.
Yep. Just moving material around different game zones. Everything replaces itself.
The Kevin Jones special.
Yeah.
Yeah, sacrifice of Bloodstained Mire. Hobbs actually going to play some Magic this time. There is the oof. Hobbs is going to take 6, I'm sure. Blood Crypt and Overgrown Tomb, so that Death Shadow is closer to coming online. Dylan is going to respond here in just a moment with the bobble, of course. Collector Oof is a fine card against these decks, but it's not game over.
One piece of the puzzle. That's how it's going to go.
Stony Silence on legs. As Dylan draws 2 cards, one from the bobble, one for his draw step.
Not game over by itself, but you back it up with a little bit of pressure and disruption. Could be a valuable piece. It draws a card and counts as an artifact for things that count for artifacts, and counts as snow for things that snow cares about.
That's right. Mox Amber, and Dylan will pass the turn back. So one thing about these Urza decks, because they play so many Moxes, they kind of cheat on lands. And Collector Oof shuts down the Moxen.
Yes.
So, in a way, it's a walking land destruction spell. Now, it doesn't hit particularly hard. There's the Peat land, pass the turn back. But it's doing some things that matter. Another Astrolabe. You okay there, boss?
So cool.
Hollowed Fountain. Emery. That resolves. Breeding Pool.
Hobbs has got that Kolaghan's command dialed up.
He's ready to blow that thing up. Emery put a couple cards into the graveyard. Keep in mind that Mox Amber's turned on now, since there's a legendary creature on the battlefield.
But the Oof still got that on lock.
Got that text. Got that text.
That's what Hobbs is thinking about. Do you bother even trying to blow up the Mox, or you just get rid of it because who knows if your Oof's going to stay in play forever?
More facial shots. Facial shot of John.
Decides that hands artifacts are just too modest to use a Kolaghan's command on.
Here's Thoughtseize. Oko, Engineer Explosives, Jeskai Ascendancy, Mox Opal, another Emery, and a Paradoxical Outcome.
Not a good hand against the Collector.
The Oof.
The Oof. The Oofy.
How are we going to pick this apart? Oko's a little annoying.
Hard to cast, though.
Is it?
I mean, he can't activate the Astrolabe.
Good call.
He can't funnel, as long as your Oof's in play, he can't funnel any mana through.
That's a good call.
He might have a breeding pool in the deck. He does.
He just milled it.
He just milled it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you assume he's only on the one.
Does he have no other green source?
No, he's got no snow-covered forest to fetch.
Awkward. Well, Oko down.
Hobbs doesn't know that for sure, though.
Of course.
And it's possible that the hand could peel away to just get the Oof off the battlefield.
There is a real reliance on these Astrolabes to be able to facilitate some action. Or Mox Opal tapping for any color of mana. And the Oof is doing a nice job of not allowing that to occur. And don't forget the Oof beats down, too. Being a 2-2 and all against a 1-2. Kolaghan's command mana at the ready here for Jonathan Hobbs as well, as he sits at 10 life when we pass the turn back over to Dylan Hand. And Dylan has drawn a Flooded Strand. He looks ready to sacrifice that Flooded Strand. And he will. He'll get a Sacred Foundry. He'll have to take 2 to get that. It's going to fall down to 11 now, it looks like. Does have the ability to deploy Jeskai Ascendancy right now. Emery's going to tap to get something back. Or is he attacking with it? Is that beatdowns? No. He's going to get back Bobble.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jeskai Ascendancy. I think your Emery has to die now.
Yep. Yep. So question, do you want to make Dylan discard a card, or do you just want to blow up a Mox or an Astrolabe? Or just deal 2 to him, shorten the clock a little bit.
All right, there's K-Command. That and destroying the Mox, it looks like. He'll sacrifice the fetch land to do that, of course. And now Bobble will join the fray. Dylan gets the loot because of the Jeskai Ascendancy. A card we'll take a look at as well here in just a moment. Been a hot minute since we've seen Jeskai Ascendancy in any format. It was an extremely, extremely pushed 3-color enchantment.
Yep. 3-color enchantment, and it's a deck that doesn't have a whole lot to do with it as a backup plan, so really speaks to the power of this alongside Emery.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So a couple different things from the very powerful Jeskai enchantment. Looks like Mox Opal is going to come down too. A little bit of filtering here. There is Emery. Hobbs wants to take a look at that powerful creature. Emery, Ascendancy, and a 0-mana artifact that you can bring back is a win. There's Blood Crypt untapped.
So the Bobble, you can bring it back any number of ways just by itself, and then either Mox can loop with another copy of itself because they are legendary.
Traverse the Uvenwald. He's going to find, I believe, Gore Clan Rampager plus Teamer Battle Rage. So that's 4,
wow.
6, that's 12.
Going old school.
There you go. Hey, a win's a win. Jonathan Hobbs going to win again number 2 over Dylan Hand. Collector Oof gets it done more or less by itself there in that game. So Death Shadow and Urza Ascendancy going to get ready for a 3rd game.
Yep. Oof just locked out too much of hands, cantripping, and mana acceleration and mana fixing. Couldn't really get off the ground.
Players Championship promotion. Collector Oof a little bit better than I thought it would be there.
Was awesome.
Yeah. It looks like Dylan's deck might be a little bit more susceptible to Collector Oof than some of the other Urza decks in the format right now, like Urza Outcome and some others. But he'll be on the play here for game number 3, and we'll have to see how that goes in just a moment. But first, a little chit-chat about the Players' Championship.
It's been a while, but I feel like I've seen this movie before. Pass the turn back. Is it a top deck?
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
Pendelhaven. Pump and attack? Is this real?
Oh my God! Oh no!
December 13th through the 15th at the Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia. You get to watch that tournament where you're watching this one, twitch.tv/SCG Tour. We've already got 5 players qualified. Joe Lissette's your defending champion. Colin Roundtree is your Season 1 Invitational champion here in 2019. And then you've got Oliver Tomiko, Matthew Dilks, and the other name is just Abe Corrigan. It was escaping me. Sorry, Abe. Abe's even here this weekend. They're all qualified. 5 of our 16. We got to figure out who the other 11 are going to be. We figured that out with 7 at-large bids, 3 from Season 2. That'll be 10 plus whoever our Season 2 Invitational Champion will be at SCGCon Winter. Next month, somehow. True or false? It was snowing in December. Excuse me, it was snowing in Denver yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Jeez.
No, on Thursday. Thursday it was snowing.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Yeah, Friday was cold.
Jeez. It's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It's already pretty cold up in Seattle. My goodness. I didn't expect it to be that cold. It's like really warm in the Midwest, like in Cleveland. It's pretty warm right now. It's pretty cold out here today in Indy. I didn't expect that.
But not as bad as it, we've been here for some shows around this time of the year that have been brutal. This is just normal.
Yeah. I'm built for the cold weather. I like it. As long as I have a jacket, I like it. Both players going to keep. Flooded Strand to start here for Dylan Hand. That's a snow-covered island. What do you think he's going to play? Huh?
I think he's going to draw a card and then have this Mana Fixer in play. That's also an artifact for things that care about artifacts and is also a spell for things that key off of spells like Jeskai Ascendancy.
Wrong.
Okay. That's fine.
I set you up.
Doesn't just replace itself, and also it has a power where it leaves the table at some point.
I like that card. The Witching Well.
Yeah.
Scry 2. Split the difference. Engineer Explosives are 0. Mox. That's tough.
So there's a bobble in the graveyard there, so if he's got Ascendancy, it's just over next turn.
And a land.
Yeah.
Bloodstained Mire, Thoughtseize. Oko and Plains. Oh, just snap him off. Just peel it.
Even if he doesn't, he still has a nice little card advantage engine going.
Of course. I just want to see the turn 2
just
dub.
do it. Do it.
Just
turn 2 through a Thoughtseize. Turn 2 through a Thoughtseize.
Just snap him off, Dylan. Come on, baby.
Another bobble ain't bad.
Seen worse.
330 standard challenge competitors. No round 3 pairings are making their way through the pairing board. 330 standard challenge
Plains.
competitors. Round 3 pairings are making their way through the pairing board.
What are we getting back? Bobble? Let's get a little card drawing up in this house. Another bobble. Activate right now. Take a look. All right.
I really don't like activating straight away.
I want to activate on my opponent's turn so my opponent can't play another discard spell.
Right, like what can you draw that you can actually cast right away?
There must be, maybe there's some sort of counter spell we're not thinking of, but I prefer my hand not to be able to be targeted by any discard spell right now. And Hobbs does have another Thoughtseize in hand. Sacrifice. The Verdant Catacombs will Jonathan Hobbs. He'll get a Blood Crypt. This oofed. All right, that'll change some things.
Yeah, I mean that was the
oof's the card.
Prize of game 2.
So Dylan will draw from the bobble and draw for his turn. Collector Oof is causing some real issues in these games. Activate Emery. Yes. Going to get back Engineer Explosives. Going to play it for 1. And just pass the turn back. So Collector Oof is causing some issues. Death Shadow in hand. Hobbs revealed that a little bit there. I'm going to get in there with the Oof. Hobbs has a Tarmogoyf. He can play Thoughtseize plus Death Shadow in the same turn if he'd like. A couple different options here for the young man. Looks like he's going to put his shields completely down to play Tarmogoyf.
Yep. Try to set up for a very good following turn. Not like playing a 5/6 is that bad in this spot either.
Tough to hate a 5/6. Land, artifact, instant, planeswalker, and sorcery in the graveyard. There's a mountain off of the Scalding Tarn for hand. That's a Gal Blast, which means his deck is back on. Bad news for Jonathan Hobbs.
Yep. Now Dylan can continue to cantrip. If he's got Jeskai Ascendancy, he's rolled up right on the spot again.
Remember, he's got a Mox Opal that taps for mana on the battlefield right now, along with an island and of plains of the snow-covered variety.
Spanbauer, please report to the stage for a missing item. Christopher Spanbauer to the stage for a missing item, please.
Not a huge fan of just killing the oof if you weren't totally sure what you wanted to do as your next order of business. Because you kind of got a tight shelf life to do this, because there's some risk of Hobbs being able to pull the oof out of the graveyard with something like Kolgon's Command.
There's also the potential, depending on how Hobbs plays the game, where that Galvanic Blast could just be lethal.
Yeah.
Right? You can just dome your opponent for 4 and kill him if they get a little bit sloppy. So I agree with you about that, and certainly in some regards, of if you don't know what you're going to be doing next, you might want to take a step back on the turn and really think about how you're going to sequence things.
Because if you don't do anything all that productive and then Hobbs is able to get the oof back, or maybe even play a second one with his turn instead of doing something else, you might have wished you could have saved that Galvanic Blast for picking a better spot.
Engineer explosives. Nope. I was thinking about blowing it for 0, but that would kill a lot of things on the battlefield. So we're not going to do that just yet. Instead, he will use Emery to get back Mishra's Bauble. And just play that and pass. Hobbs will draw. Looks like he picked up a copy of Street Wraith. He'll cycle Street Wraith. Fall down to 10. New card coming. Plague Engineer. Thoughtseize still in hand here for Hobbs. He'll fire that off. And there goes Emery. Dylan is empty-handed now. Dismember.
That's a big one.
Now here comes Goyf.
No risk of being combo killed right now. And also shutting down Hand's Card Advantage Engine.
This is a player announcement for Austin Anderson. Please report to table 521. Your standard challenge is ready to begin.
Dylan's going to sacrifice the Witching Well, but he can't use the Mox Amber, which means a bit of a misstep there too.
Yeah, Dylan really needed to tap in response to something happening to the Emery, because now without enough mana left over, he can't activate the Wishing Well. And I mean, he's really short on resources. That was a big spot to be able to draw too. The mana was left over, and he needs some stuff to work with.
Hobbs down to 4, hand at 10. Hard to say if that galvanic blast would have actually ended up being lethal, because Hobbs' turn is probably a little bit different if he has the collector roof on the battlefield.
But if you sit on it, and get back your bauble and say go, it's possible there Hobbs goes, all right, I'll put another threat on the battlefield instead of killing your Emery because I still got the oof in play. Mm-hmm. You then go end a turn, kill your oof,
and then who knows?
And then you might just be good to go on the spot.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like Dylan actually has a copy of Jeskai Ascendancy in hand now, I think. I may be wrong as he taps 4 mana. He might be thinking about, again, cracking the Witching Well.
I guess doesn't matter all that much because the hand would have been forced by...
the Thoughtseize?
Yeah,
sure.
But still.
All right, we're back over to Hobbs now, who's got that active Tarmogoyf, just a couple of lands, and a whole bunch of cards in hand. Tarmogoyf currently a 6-power creature. So if it were to connect, hand would fall down to 3. Hand is down to 3. And now it'll be, it looks like it'll be Traverse. He's got to make sure he's got enough for it to have Delirium. He does. So a little short on lands to be able to do the old Traverse for Glorkline Rampager and kill you.
Yeah, I think if he had drawn a land that turn, he might have had it all.
Yep. Here's Death Shadow, which is being played in the face of an Engineered Explosives on 1, but...
Hand so far behind the ball that even making him spend 2 mana is a win.
If you're Dylan, you got to find a Galblast, I think. I'm not sure how he finds it, and if he has more in his deck or not. But he needs to find one. Here's 3 mana.
I mean, if he plays Ascendancy, all of his cheap little artifacts give him a loot at it.
Yep.
Could do it that way.
Looks like he might be deciding exactly how he wants to deploy this. He's going to tap Mox Opal to generate some mana now. Maybe not. Very unsure of himself. EE for 1 will take care of the Death Shadow.
Like I said, even getting hand to spend 2 mana on his own turn is a win here for Hobbs.
Feels like it. Remember, the Mox Amber can't tap for any mana right now. Dylan does have, looks like a copy of Saheeli. Okay. Mox will make a servo. He'll keep the new Mox, lose the old Mox. There's your servo token. Now he'll play a Scalding Tarn. Snow-covered island. And now there's Astrolabe. So that's going to generate another servo. That'll draw Dylan a card. That's another Mox. So that'll generate another servo. And now that Mox will bite the dust. Pass the turn back. That is a Plague Engineer on servos, and this one is over. Jonathan Hobbs going to win this game in match over Dylan Hand 2-1. After that first game, he didn't do much of anything. He was able to get the second and the third. And for Jonathan Hobbs, it's another win, which we've seen him do so many times before. This time with Jun Death Shadow over Hand playing Urza Ascendancy.
Clutcher Roof, spectacular.